We, Johan, Lars-Inge and me, Anders, were going to take a bicycle trip on the Danish Islands mid-March 2024. As we live in different places in Sweden, we needed to get there. Johan, living in Stockholm, booked a train to Gothenburg, but it was cancelled, so he needed to take his car to the Swedish west coast. From there we biked to the nearest train station and took Öresundståg to Copenhagen. There we switched train and went on to Nyborg. Denmark in March can be cold and rainy, but the forecast looked good. Grey skies when we left the train, but no rain. A slight tailwind helped us up along the coast. Mostly flat, but Munkebo gave some resistance before we could enjoy our first after-bike beer. After a good night's rest, we packed our bikes and set off. The routes, planned by Lars-Inge, went on small roads with very little traffic. Cycleways was mostly available when we needed to go along larger roads. In Denmark you are never far away from the sea, so to have company with a ship along the bike path was not a surprise. The road surface varied from paved to gravel and even some short passages of cobblestones. The wind had shifted since yesterday, so it was still favorable, something we liked when biking over the open fields. There's no high mountains in Denmark, but at some places the roads goes up and down with steep climbs. This can be tiring, especially when riding a loaded bike. The last 10 kilometers to Vissenbjerg was just like that.
Då ska man ha en app för att pumpa en cykel.
There was some moisture in the air on the third day, but no rain. Still tailwind, so it was easy to Fåborg. A puncture for me did not cause any long delay. As it was in March, temperature was around 10 degrees, so it was nice to enter a proper bakery before boarding the ferry to Söby. The last stretch from the ferry to our hotel in Aerö followed the coast, but it went up and down. Some sandy roads made it a little bit sketchy. Before coming into Aerö, Lars-Inge took us on a detour to have a glimpse of the surroundings. For the fourth day, a trip around Aerö was planned, but heavy rain delayed our start. Finally we set off with the headwind and rain still pouring down. After an hour it eased off and we arrived at Söby again and was lucky to find Finn's bakery. After the coffee break, rain had stopped and we could once again enjoy the nice roads and landscape. I shortened a little due to tired legs, whereas Johan and Lars-Inge continued. Two ferry passages were scheduled for the fifth day. Recent storms had damaged the gravel roads near the sea, but it was still possible to get through, and we could board the ferry from Austall in due time. Rudköping and Langeland welcomed us with sun. A strong wind from west gave us a tailwind over the open fields to Spotsbjerg. The next ferry took us to Lolland. A flat, open, beautiful landscape was on the menu for this stretch. It was only for a short passage we needed to go westwards and fight the strong wind to Saxköping. We were somewhat puzzled that it was not possible to get a proper lager in the land of Tuborg and Carlsberg, only IPA. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago. Morning in Saxköping was wet, but the rain stopped. And, once again, believe it or not, the wind had shifted to southwest, so it was still from behind. No ferries today, but some bridges. First a short one at Gullborg, which took us from Lolland to Falster. I thought I would never be fine. I strive just to say I'm alright. And for the first time in a long time I'm alright. I've seen a lot of change. Then the 3-kilometer long old bridge that crossed the gap to Sjaelland. After a good coffee break in Vordingborg, we continue up to Rudvik. But all will be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays. Way back a year ago. It was nice to enjoy the after-bike beer sitting in front of an open fire. Finally, we were to cover the last distance up to Copenhagen Central Station. For the first time in many days, a headwind met us, but only for the first half, and it was very weak. Now the landscape was completely flat and not so much farmland. After our coffee break, Lars-Inge had a problem with his gear, so we decided to skip the small cycleways and continue beside the main road. As scheduled, we arrived at the train station in due time and could board the train towards home in Sweden. To summarize, we were lucky with weather, tailwind for most of the time and almost no rain. Punctures and one mechanical issue, which luckily happened on the last day.